next video entitled Largest Swap. You are to create a function that takes a two-digit number and determines if it's the largest of two possible digit swaps. To illustrate, consider largest swap called on the input 27. This returns false. We see the description below. If 27 is the input, you return false because swapping the digits gives 72, and 72 is greater than 27. So they want the original input to be greater than or equal to the resulting number when you swap the two digits. So in that case, we see that 43 works out to true because you swap them, it goes to 34, and that's less than the original input. I think that's clear. The notes say numbers with two identical digits in this third example should yield true. So that's good to know. Those are the kind of cases you have to look out for in problems like this. So let's go over to code. Your turn first. Knock this one out and then resume the video. Okay, so I'm sure the input's good, but I'm going to make a little check for that. Let's call it is valid input num, and the rules were that this was supposed to be a two-digit number, right? So let's say return num is greater than or equal to 10 and num is less than 100. With this then, you could do some kind of error checking. I'm going to say if not is valid input, i.e. the input is invalid. And here you could throw an exception or do something meaningful. I'm not, but I'm just trying to get you into the mindset of processing input and making sure it's in the form that you want and expect. So that's out of the way. Handle that as you'd like. Now on to the work. Let's make a helper function that can swap the digits for us. Again, private, it's just our own little work area. Nobody outside this class needs to know about it. And I'm going to call it swap int. Oops, I think I fat fingered the enter key and it ran. I apologize for that. Let's just continue. Swap int, it'll take a number. And I want this method to return another integer that results from swapping the two digits. And I've already verified that my input will be a two-digit number at this point, so I'm not going to worry about any kind of validation here. I'm just going to go for it. First things first, string, let's call num to text. And we'll say num, and we know that there's this toString method that will convert it into string form. So that'll be a little bit easier for swapping the digits around. That's why I'm doing that. Then I can say something like string swapped equals, and do you remember what we learned with the string constructor, that you can pass it an array of characters and it can make a string out of that? Well, I'm going to leverage that, make this new character array right in place, and then I'm going to invert the characters of this string, right? We know this is a two-digit number in string form. So what if I just say num to text at 1, the second number, and num to text 0, which would be the first number. Do you see how I've inverted those by using 1 and 0 there? The normal form would be index 0, index 1 if we were reading it in order, but I've flipped them here. I've created this character array right inside the constructor. It'll get passed a string and it will make a string out of it. We're almost there, but remember we need to return an integer that I'm going to compare. So you may remember int32 has a parse method for doing this. The int32 class can convert strings, and we simply pass it the string, and it will give us an integer. It will extract an integer value from that string if it can. Feel free to consult the docs if you'd like, and I should need the using system namespace. Let's bring that in. Now, you see this becomes pretty simple with this helper method, right? we can swap equals swap and num, right? So now we got the swapped one, we've got our original input, and now it's simply a matter of determining if the original input is greater or equal. We saw that was included. So return num is greater than or equal to swapped. And I think that covers us. We took the work out of our main method here, put it in that helper function, and I like to do that. Let's give this a run, see how it goes. Okay, we have an error on line 21. Let's see what we did. Class struct or interface method must have a return type 21.8. Oh, sure. So if you'd like, pause the video to look for it and resume when you're ready. Okay, did you find it on line 21? I'm saying return return a Boolean, right? This comparison is going to have a true or false result, and it's going to be ANDed together. If you AND together Booleans, you're going to get another Boolean result. So, but we didn't say this was return anything. We didn't even say void, so that's a big problem, right? You'd use void if you were returning nothing, but ours should return a Boolean. So that was definitely an error on my part. Let's try this again. Cool, there we got it. Largest swap. Yeah, and hopefully you remember we did these private because it has nothing to do with the outside world. This is sort of my workspace, if you will, my little scratch pad. And then static because we don't need to create objects of this class to use these methods. That's why I use the static method in these. I just wanted to mention that because we haven't talked about it in a while, and I know it's confusing when you're new to object-oriented programming. But otherwise, to use these methods, we would have to create an instance of the program class, and then on those instances, we could call swap_int. But since I made this static, I don't have to create an object of program to use it. I can just call my method like that. So, just a little reminder on that. Hopefully you found this video helpful, and we'll see you in the next challenge. Thanks.